All right, mic check, 1, 2. How's everybody doing today? We're good? Come on, yeah, how's everybody? Yeah, exactly. Okay. We're gonna. This is gonna be a fun session. We're not gonna go into all the crazy topics. I'm just gonna connect with you guys real quick. So and just real quick, read this disclosure just so. Okay, you guys ready? Okay, perfect. So my name is Chris Lyons. I'm one of the GPs and president of Web3 Media at Andreessen Horowitz, and I'm excited to come here today. First and foremost, we're in Paris, so shout out to Paris for just being amazing as always. Exactly. A few more talks we get, and then we all have some champagne, so it'll be perfect. So I'm here to talk about this idea I've been thinking about and actually been talking, just been researching for a while. It's a concept that's called hiding the wires. And I'll get into that in a second, but first I just want to just give you a little bit of background about me. My name's Chris. I'm a crypto punk. That's me. It kind of looks like me with my messy hair. So shout out to all the punk holders. I've actually started off in the music industry. I was a music producer and engineer. I founded a fund within Andreessen Horowitz called the Cultural Leadership Fund. It was a fund that connected the world's greatest cultural leaders, so athletes, entertainers, musicians, executives, to the best new technology companies. So really kind of like play at this intersection of culture and innovation. And through that, I've just really had a lot of conversations in regards to where the future of crypto is going, how brands are interested into this place, and the opportunity that we can actually present here today at ECC. So, look, I view, everybody, Threads, they got to 100 million users in one day, or, blah, blah, blah. And there's so many companies that are going super fast. For us, I believe that we need to hit 100 million users within using the blockchain, specifically ETH. But we have a problem. And we have a very big problem. And unfortunately, the problem is us. So, I hate to, I know I love all the words and all the jargons and all the pieces, but every single time when we talk about our technology, we lead with the technology. We lead, ZK hold, staking, sharding, NFTs, all these terms. Now, we all know we do it, right? I mean, it's okay. It's okay. We can admit this is a self-help session. We can all talk about it together. And so, if we're going to get to 100 million users, I think that one of the big things that we have to do is we have to talk about amongst ourselves how we can use this almost kind of like it's almost like a Avengers. We're the Avengers. We're coming into the room. We're figuring out all the good stuff, how to actually change the world. And then we have to go back out to the regular people, the people that don't know anything about crypto, don't know anything about technology. And we have to be able, in order to share these opportunities. And so this is where I come into this idea around hiding the wires. So this is plasma, flat screen TV. It's a beautiful TV, amazing infrastructure, looks great at home. But then imagine if you were at home, you're like, oh, this is amazing, this is a great TV, but let's go and throw some wires on there. Let's actually show how it's done. The art of hiding, of putting a flat screen TV on a wall is that you don't see any of the actual infrastructure behind the scenes. And that's kind of where I think the opportunity can present with the future of Web3. And so we want to be able to celebrate the technology infrastructure and also work on the mainstream applications at the same time. And so I'll give you just a few examples of where the wires were held. So, as I mentioned before, I was in the music industry. I was a music producer and engineer. I used to work with Jermaine Dupri. I don't know if anybody's heard of So Def or Mariah Carey or any of these people. He's kind of a big deal. And I learned a lot of things from him. But one of the things that I learned was this idea around just the actual technology itself. We're all engineers. We're all thinking about the future and whether it's code or whatever. But the music industry was one of the first industries that I learned that technology was important, but it wasn't what mattered for the actual end user. And so, so I don't know if you guys ever heard of MP3s. I don't know, some people, it might be dating people a little bit. Raise your hand if you went to an MP3 conference before. No, nobody? Oh no, exactly. So that's kind of the point. So so when I was a producer, I would always go talk to the artist. I said, hey, please send me a WAV file. I need a WAV file. It's the highest quality version of the file of the song, and that way I can master the song and keep it on the highest quality file. If you send me an MP3, it's a super small meg. It's great for email. However, it's not going to give you the highest quality version. Now, I would tell them this every single time, and every single time they would send me an MP3 file. Why? Because it was easy. They didn't care. They didn't know the difference. All they wanted to do was get the song sent over, and they focused more so on how can I email you this file as opposed to, because a traditional WAV file is like 25 megs, where MP3 is like 4. So like there was a very interesting insight that I learned is that the artist did not care about the file. All they wanted to do was get the product out so they could go to the club or go to the radio station and play their song as quickly as possible. And so now if you fast forward today, we have companies like Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, you name it, where no one cares about what the file is. All they want to do is have the end experience. They want to figure out what it's like, and I have a billion songs in your pocket. You can play anything that you want, and no one cares what type of file. Is it AIFF? Is it a WAV? Is it an MP3? All they want to do is just press play. And so the music industry was one of the first places where we could actually see this opportunity of hiding the wires. Another industry, which I think is super interesting, that we use on an everyday basis, is the credit card industry. Now, this is how the actual credit card industry actually works. Imagine if American Express would say, hey, you should come join us because our interchange fees are lower than Visa. Our merchant bank is so much cooler than anybody else's, right? And so this is a super, super, super technological industry, but that's not what they sell. They actually focus on experience and luxury. And, not everybody gets the, hop out the helicopter with the Catwoman suit, but, it's the idea of selling the actual end result. And I think that that's another analogy in terms of where you can hide the wires. Nobody knows how the credit card system works. However, we use it every single day, and it's an important piece of technology, and it's actually an extremely technologically savvy type of industry, and it powers the entire world, right? And this is how companies actually be able to present themselves from the end results. The last analogy that I would say that you can kind of think about is GPS. Raise your hand if you just walked here, you knew exactly how to get here. Nobody. Well, you did. You must live here, maybe. And also raise your hand if you thought about, I'm actually using GPS technology today. Okay, a couple people, thinking about, okay, yeah, it's really interesting, right? Because GPS technology is actually an incredible infrastructure, and you see how the process is, and all of us are builders, and back in the day when people were building GPS technology, they didn't realize that they were going to create the infrastructures of companies like Uber, where you're not focusing on, hey, I'm using GPS technology. GPS technology is actually the underlying infrastructure behind some of the biggest companies that we use on an everyday basis. And they're focused on the end experience. You want to be able to, go on your date and pull up in your, S550 Mercedes-Benz and not have to worry about any of the details, right? And so same thing with Airbnb. Now using the actual technology itself, you can get the benefits of the experience and focus on the application. Now, this is the thing. Like, we have a huge opportunity on our hands, right? We can do this. But we have to hide the wires. We have to be able to say, okay, guys, we could talk about all the future and all the technology and all the infrastructure, but we need to focus on the application layer. And in order for us to do that, we have to do this the right way. And so I know that, it's been an interesting time right now. So shout out to everybody. I know it's the winter season, but it's still hot outside. So, but we've been doing well, especially within the future of where ETH is going, where the industry is moving, how many people, the demand, everybody coming here today. I know that we're all going to make it, right? And so, just to share a little light, we're moving in the right direction. If you think about just, the currently daily active users within the Ethereum ecosystem, we're around 400,000 users on a daily active basis. 1.4 million in December of 2022. That's when all you guys were either buying or selling your bags, one of the two. So, but it's really, the momentum is continually moving forward. Also, if you think about just participation within DAO governance, you see the voting, unique voters, proposals are really moving up and to the right. And NFT creators in have earned over $1.9 billion in royalties since 2021. And so if you think about just the future of the industry and where the possibilities are, we've been doing a lot of great work, and that's why I think that there's so much more that we can actually kind of do. So, like, what are some examples? So for me, it's like when you say you're building, I see this all the time. I talk to all the big brands. I work with a lot of the, whether it's everyday people and also work with some of the best technology companies and Web3 companies in the entire industry. And so the one thing I hear is that, oh, I'm building this product, or I'm going to release this thing. And everyone's like, oh, cool, cool, cool. And then here, I need a token, or like, I need address your wallet. And so what happens is that we actually go from a user base of 100 million users to 400,000. The second we overemphasize the idea of, hey, this is a Web3 product, or this is that, and so as opposed to just saying, hey, this is a brand new feature, this is a new asset, this is an opportunity for you to actually connect directly with your user base and your audience, and so it's really interesting. So I found this analogy, it's pretty funny. So it's like, this is Popeye. It's like, Popeye is like a Web2 company, right? And so this is where I see like where the possibilities are. So Popeye is like a Web2 company, no muscles right now, but the opportunity is within Web3, which is the spinach. So imagine like when you have these Web2 ideas and concepts in areas where you can also then increase the future of the industry by adding Web3 technology and adding a lot of the projects that we've talked about today, then now you get big muscles, man. And so that's the future of the industry to us, is where you can actually bridge the gap by using the infrastructure behind the scenes and then being able to actually adopt and create more of a demand with everyday users. And so, this, to me, everybody wants big muscles, and I think that we all can agree that Web3, it's Web3 for a reason, right? Like, this is where the future of the space is going. This is where the next generation of the internet, my partner Chris Dixon talks about the opportunity to read, write, and own, and this is the opportunity for us to own our own infrastructure. And so, we can all be friends. We can all be friends. It's a possibility. I believe it. One day we will have an ECC and a Web2 conference together. But the funny thing is that, like, what the fuck is Web3? Like, what is it really? Like, this is jargon. I mean, this is stuff, and I've been saying Web3 this whole time because no one even realized it. But if you go out to the restaurants, if you go to your friends, your everyday people, ask your aunt or your mom what Web2 is. What is Web1? Like, nobody knows, and it doesn't matter. Like, at the end of the day, people don't think about how the technology is or how it works. They just want to be able to have the end result and have the experience. So, what are a couple examples that I've seen that have just really started to kind of move the needle? So, like, this is my friends at Artifact, and this is LeBron James wearing a brand new Artifact sneaker, right? LeBron's not over here thinking, oh, I just minted this brand new Artifact sneaker. No, it's the end result. It's the experience. However, in order for him to get that shoe, he had to actually interact on chain, which is the actual opportunity where you can bridge everyday experiences and applications and have delightful opportunities that allow now if, Artifact wants to send somebody a gift, or now they know exactly who their user base is, and you have dope-ass shoes right there. So another example, which is actually, like, I think started the last bull run, was NBA Top Shot. NBA Top Shot, why did we have the bull run? Like, in 2020, 2021? It was really because everyday people were able to actually interact on chain. When you bought people understood the idea of saying, okay, I have a physical collectible, I have a card, and now I can actually own that moment on a digital collectible, right? That wasn't necessarily overemphasizing NFTs, even though they did say NFTs a lot, but they allowed everybody to actually just use, an email address, a credit card application, but there was still underlying blockchain technology that was really helping move the future. And so I think that that's another example in terms of how everyday experiences and opportunities and how we can get the infrastructure. Tiffany's is a great example where they do what they do best, which is actually make jewelry, right? They make amazing jewelry. But then they said, okay, well, how do we actually interact on chain? And so they created 250 CryptoPunk necklaces where you were able to actually grab the NFT, mint it, burn it, fork it, and do the whole thing, right? And all with being on brand, which aligned with the company. So, and then this is the last example. This is the Dior. They just most recently released these. And so these are just like, this is literally hiding the wires. There's no wires. Like, so on these shoes, you literally, I can just snap and type an NFC chip, and then from there, immediately, you're automatically brought onto a website where you can log on, you get a digital collectible, you have proof of authenticity, and this is all on chain. So now, you're able to actually know who the audience is. They can send you drops. They can send you gifts. If I'm wearing my shoes. They're pretty fly. I like them. Shout out to Dior. But if you're going to actually, resell them, now you can have proof of authenticity. You can actually move them around. And so, like, you can actually keep the track of ownership, which is exactly what the benefits of what crypto can actually be. And there's so many brands that are doing this. I personally think that Paris is a great ecosystem just because of the number of brands that have embraced web3, and I think that's one reason why we're seeing so many adoption within the luxury and fashion industry. But there's so many brands, from Starbucks and what they did with Polygon to Chanel and Nike and their Swoosh program. And so, like, I encourage, as we're building these technology infrastructures and these platforms and these layer 2s and the tokens and the application layers, that really thinking about how these brands can actually work with everyday people. And so at the end of the day, look, we got to continue building great tech. Like, that's what we're all here for. I think that, we have to do this together to actually build the future of the industry. And, within Andreessen Horowitz, we're super excited about finding the next generation of founders and the next best technology companies. And so that's where it all begins. But we got to make sure we can, let go a little bit of the jargon, hide the wires. Like, I think that we can do it. I'm super bullish on crypto. I've loved cryptos ever since, 2013, once I learned about Coinbase, to 2017 with Dapper, and then now with this next wave, and it's continuing to become, the future of the infrastructure, and that's why we're all here today. But I just give it a try. Like, try having a conversation about your product to the everyday user. And once you can do that, that's when I really believe that we can start to amass this huge adoption of crypto. But it starts with us. We're the Avengers. We're all coming together thinking about how the future of the world is going to work. But in order for it to happen, we have to make sure that the everyday person that has no idea what crypto is, that doesn't need to know. They just want to be able to have a delightful experience. And it's because of founders and builders like you to actually go out and create these products. And so we have to just kind of do this together. But, we're all going to make it. So, I believe that Web 1, Web 2, Web 3, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, we're all here together. And I'm super excited about the future of the industry. And this was just a little public services announcement that's saying it's okay to hide the wires. And so, I'm Chris Lyons, and thank you guys for enjoying my TED Talk.